Hello, hello. I think we are finally live. Welcome in, everybody. I'm just getting started here. Today we're going to be talking about realism and the little that I know about living in the real world. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. What have I gotten myself into for today? What have I gotten myself into for today? Hello, everybody. I hope you are all feeling really awesome. I'm just trying to find out. Everybody is so capable here when it comes to life, and I'm trying to find, there we are. Main events. Hello, hello. Hello, Nilla. Hello, Tamron. Thank you guys so much for coming. This is going to be an interactive panel today, which is going to be lots of fun. So get ready, get your stuff together, and I'm going to talk for a little bit, and then I'm going to give you guys a little bit of time to get ready, and then we're going to work on this together. Please let me know if my music or my audio's just off. Give me a heads up. I'm always happy. There should be music coming through, and you should be able to hear what you need to hear. Hi, hi, hi. Welcome in. All right, everybody. Let's give this one a go. Using the good old-fashioned Google Slides. So today we're talking about digital painting for realism. And this is just a basic guide. This is a basic guide. I mean, we could literally, spend a year on this. So this is either starting or improving your realism. Who am I? I am P-Head Inc. I'm a Twitch streamer, and I'm quite kind of available on different areas and different socials, but you can always find me at P-Head Inc. I make a lot of mistakes. I'm really good at making mistakes, but every day I get better. Or sometimes I don't, and that's fine too. A little bit about me. I teach...
Spin It Fanatica followed your channel.
Thank you so much for the follow. I teach digital arts online, and I work in alternative education. So I'll go into that a little bit more in a second. I have a background in traditional arts, and I love portraiture, as you can see. Just a really quick CV. Why CozyCon kind of means so much to me is I work with and educate young people who struggle with trauma and complexities that come with neurodivergence. I'm studying to become a counselor based on the person-centered method, and I'm currently learning and teaching various programs like Clip Studio Paint, Adobe Creative Suite, Procreate, Rebel 7 or Rebel, I'm not exactly sure how to pronounce it. I'm trying my best to learn Blender. Trust from last night is a really, really good person if you want to watch really, really good Blender using. Nomad and Unreal Engine. I've gotten really into using Unreal Engine lately and playing around with that. One of my favorite things to do is attend Vertex Conference, which is the digital arts conference hosted by Imagine FX Magazine, which is basically the biggest kind of digital arts magazine in the UK. So CozyCon's really precious to me. A few years ago, my daughter died at the age of 7 from cancer. And I was introduced to the beauty of Twitch and the Furmunity through my high school best friend, Caitlin from Tamberlane. You might know them. Her comics, and she helped fundraise for my daughter, and I met some amazing people. CozyCon was basically what brought me back into art and brought me back into the passion that is creating. So I am very, 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 very in love with you guys and all that you do. I founded a not-for-profit, which is Hope House Hazels, which was created to show that disabled and neurodivergent people have an important place in our world. So that's just a little bit about me. And no, I don't know what I'm doing. So what are we doing today? We will quickly discuss strategies. We will then work together on a project. And you don't have to share your work, but we'd love it if you would. That would be really fun. I want you today to try and take chances, make mistakes, and get messy. Enable yourself to fail. It's one of the most freeing things that you can possibly do. We learn 100 times faster when we fail than when we get it right the first time. This is kind of a known fact. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Superhero. That's really kind of you. Good morning. Good morning. Welcome in. Always do a warm-up for your muscles and your brain. You wouldn't run a marathon without stretching first. Why the heck would you start drawing? Always be a beginner. Enter into everything with the mentality of, I have something to learn here. I have a panel tomorrow discussing a little bit more about, kind of the complexities of mental health and art and how to share that if you're interested. So these are things that you should do. Studies. Studies are really important. So this is a study I did over during the art fight in July. Require yourself to do enjoyable studies. I put enjoyable in there for a really good reason. A lot of people are kind of really hard on themselves and do things that they don't want to do. Do things you want to do. Do things that enrich your life. Make it worth your while. Look at anything new that you do as a study. Recognize your weaknesses. Work to correct them. Recognize your strengths, but don't rest on comfortable. That's something I'm really guilty of. That's something I like to kind of do all the time, is do what comes easily to me. Don't do that. Stretch yourself. Find something that you're not very good at. So this is actually what I did in this study. I actually referenced an artist that you idolize. I said, don't be afraid to reference artists that you idolize, but don't copy completely. You'll see here I changed quite a few things up. This is actually a friend's OC. Their name is Kessie, and I just love their OC. She is absolutely gorgeous. Also, make sure that you give credit. This piece that I referenced over here is by, over here. This piece is by Personalami. You can find them on For Affinity. I didn't want to put any links on there just with, but I think For Affinity is safe to do now if you want to look them up on there. But anyways, something that I really worked on this piece is I really struggle because I come from a human drawing background in traditional arts, and I really struggle where to put the muzzle. I haven't gotten it exactly right, but I really tried to copy this kind of small muzzle where it falls in conjunction to the chin. That's something that I really worked on with this. The other thing that I really focused on that was new was trying a different program. This program is Rebel, which we'll talk a little bit more about in a second. I hope everybody's following along. I'm going to take a quick sippy, just so I don't run out of fluids here. Okie dokie. So here, this should look familiar to anybody who's been hanging out with Sixel lately. Sixel has really improved my art by reminding me about the importance of gesture drawing. So do use references. There is this old DVA kind of like, I know what I'm doing with arts, this idea of you don't use references, that it's cheating. That's bizarre and completely wrong. References are absolutely vital to growing as an artist. Gesture draw if things get too stiff. So something I do quite often, because I'm a traditionally trained artist, is I can get very stiff. I learned how to draw off of a lot of models like this. I learned how to draw after a lot of figure drawing. And when I'm kind of using my brain, or when I have a reference, sometimes I'll get really, really stiff with the drawing. And a lot of times that's when I haven't warmed up and I haven't done some gesture drawings to warm up. And Sixel is absolutely on about that. It's not really about the quality of the individual gesture drawings. It's about getting your hand moving and understanding movement in artwork. That makes a huge difference. After one of the CozyCons, I started doing 15 minutes of gesture drawings every day. It really, really, really helped. It was amazing. So, it was really, really helpful. Is your gesture, basically your reference too similar to your piece of artwork? That can happen sometimes too. You don't necessarily want it to be exactly like what you see on the page. You want it to look different, especially if you're making furry art. There's not a lot of dog men around to get references from, to do canids. So if you need to use that, close your reference, take some distance from your reference, look at your reference separately, okay, and see how you want to play into that. Do you need to use maybe a different reference, maybe a different smile, a different eye color reference, a different je ne sais quoi? Don't be afraid to buy and use different sorts of brushes. This is just a random brush image that I found from online, but there are hundreds, if not thousands, of artists online who are selling brushes that they've created themselves, and it supports the community. It's incredible to get a sale, even if it's like, £5, £6 from some brushes, and that does an amazing job to support other artists. It also helps you learn about other artists, learn about different techniques, and it's not cheating, for goodness sake. It's not cheating. Sorry, I hope I didn't blow anybody's eardrums out. Try different programs. That's something that a lot of people will rest with one program, get really comfortable. Something I've been really pleased with this year is I have started using Procreate because of a certain little Mifix that I've learned that trip from. She is an absolute whiz when it comes to Procreate. But I know she and I are still learning things every day. Like I've been using Clip Studio Paint for quite a few years. I learn something new on that program nearly every day. So it goes back to, kind of being a beginner. Draw something or someone that you don't normally draw. So during COVID, I realized that I had never done any POC skin tone studies. I realized that I had really been drawing a lot of white people, and I was like, hold up, let me change this. And so I spent the entirety of COVID just researching every different skin tone that I could, every different complexity. And one of the really cool things that you find when you really research studying light and different colors is that, skin tones aren't just kind of, what we think of. It's not like tan, really dark tan. It's actually a whole crazy conundrum of purples, greens, reds, oranges. You'll find all these colors under the rainbow, and especially when you enter reflecting light and things like that, really experiment with what you're not comfortable with. Go to something that's a little bit out of your, go to something that's a lot out of your comfort zone. And it was also a really, really fun way to kind of establish my internal prejudices, and kind of work through and realize, I had never really thought about introducing more POC colors or POC characters of color into my artwork. And so that was really something that I was like, no, I'm going to change that now. I'm going to make a lot more people of color OCs. And that was really important to me. So it's something that's really, really encouraging. And that's really, really important. Use 2, 3, or more different programs together. Don't be afraid to do that. That sounds crazy, but if you look at magazines like Imagine FX that tell you, what these professionals use, so many professionals will use multiple programs together in their strengths to produce a single piece of artwork. So for example, I know a lot of artists who use Clip Studio Paint in their vectors. Their vectors are gorgeous on Clip Studio Paint. I know quite often, I think Caitlin will go on Clip Studio Paint and then go on to Illustrator sometimes. I also know Jonas, who kind of is probably dribbling around somewhere, is incredible. He will even make backgrounds on Unreal Engine and then render on top of them so that he's able to get an idea for his scenery, his, the reality, and then dynamic, color and contrast that takes place in using a real background. Use the mesh tool. It is not cheating. It is a really, really useful tool. Again, I learned that off of the mistress that is Mythix, the queen of Procreate. She is incredibly good at using the mesh tool to fix problems in your line art before it develops further on. Always start with a colored canvas, not white. That's another thing I was reminded about from Miss Mifix as well. What it allows you to do is it allows you to punch up to white if you want to really give something a real highlight. The other thing that's great with it is that it allows you to have a base color that you can wash over. So say if you have a warm color, a warm colored piece or a warm colored reference that you really wanted to play with that, by putting a warm colored base on, it allows you to have that essence on the very, basic piece of what you're making. We'll explain this a little bit more as we're working. It will make a bit more sense. Also, try to stay on one layer for each component. So this one is one that I'm quite hesitant with because there are people who get really terrified by that. Oh my God, I don't want to stay on one layer. No, when artists say that, they mean do the bulk of your work on one layer with things that are cohesive and make sense. So for example, I will do my portraiture on one layer and I will then move to, say I'll do all the skin tones, shadows, highlights, the basic meat and potatoes of what I'm making. I will make it on one layer. This allows me to keep it cohesive. It allows me to really look at color and light and how it contrasts between each other. Then, as I kind of get an idea for that, I will then go on after and maybe punch up a little bit more. You woke up early for this panel? Well, thank you. That means a lot to me. Yeah, I'm in the UK, so it's like 6 o'clock here. So that's really special. Thank you. So anyways, use this idea of staying to one layer, but don't use it don't become, the Nazi of the one layer police. It's not fun. Be kind to yourself. So for example, I will put maybe, clothing all together on another layer. And that gives me a little bit of durability, a little bit of, flexibility as well. Don't worry too much about it. Don't worry about any of these rules. Rules are made to be bent, maybe broken, maybe. Unless we're talking about safety of yourself or others. That's important. Okay, let's think about light and shadow. So this is really the basis of understanding realism. Light and shadow is massively, massively important. I felt you on that 24 layer canvas. You know what though? I've had 24 layers canvases where my main layer is where I've done all the painting. I've still done all the painting on one layer. Those other things might be, say, if I'm adding jewels or an extra highlight that I really want to pop something. Say I wanted to play around with really hard shadow on a different layer, I'll easily have 24 layers and still do most of my painting on one. So again, bend this around. And it's going to take you a while to get used for 24 layers to about 3, 4, 5, kind of 8's my normal. Give it a go. Give it a go. It's something worth trying. It's something worth trying. So let's have a little talk about light and shadow. Now, you'll notice we're talking about realism. We're only going in monochrome. We're going in black and white here. So what I would say is make sure that you, there we go. Make sure that you understand your shapes. So I actually have on my YouTube some kind of how to draw shapes. It's a really old video. My art's a lot better now, but hey ho. There are a lot of other great YouTube videos about learning how to draw shapes and shading shapes. So in the center, we have your full light, your white. This is your highlight, right? Everybody knows that. And so that's kind of right down there at number 5. Then we have our halftone, which is this medium gray. And if you're doing portraiture, that would be your, your skin tone. Your kind of, if you were to buy a foundation color for your character, that would be it. Okay, so I always think of it as your kind of foundation color. All right. Then we go on to the shadow edge, which is this dark gray, or number 2. Okay. And this again kind of gives the volume to it. Now, I want you to be aware that this, where does this fall in this? Your shadow edge is darker than your halftone, but it's not as dark as your cast shadow, and that's important. So the shadowed edge is here. Now, the extra special, like umami flavor, that comes is reflected light. Reflected light. Mwah! There's something really awesome about reflected light. So here on the bottom there, you can see we have our reflected light. Now that is the reflection from the table in this instance, okay? In other examples, you might see reflected light in the shadow as the color from the sky. So for example, if you have photographs of, if your reference is outside, you will often get a reflected light that has a blue tinge because the sky is blue normally. Okay, so that's what you're looking at there, and that really adds a certain je ne sais quoi to that. Then also, of course, we have our cast shadow, which is, they label it as black. If I would have done this, I would have done it a bit darker there, and I would have like punched up the contrast a bit more. But anyways, that gives your darkest color. That's kind of under the, under the chin, in the darker areas. If you have like a really dramatic, character who's shadowed on one side, that's what that's going to be. The dreaded orb. Literally, it is the dreaded orb. It is absolutely the dreaded orb. 1000% the dreaded orb. I love that. Okay, let's go on to the next one. Here we go. So let's do it. Let's do some artwork. I just went really for California there. Let's do it. Let's do it. All right, let's do some portraiture. This is my passion. This is what I'm really fanatical about. I've been called worse. Nilla Skunk, otherwise known as the dreaded orb. Okay, you guys are making me lose my place. You're cracking me up. Okay, so today I want to focus, again, this is just kind of the beginning basics on tone, shadow, and light. Okay, so what we're going to do is a monochrome piece. We're going to do it in either black and white, sepia, whatever colors you want to work with, but keep it in those two colors now. You got to change your Discord name now, Nilla. Delicious. So we're going to color today using glazes. I say this, I hope I can get to the coloring aspect. If not, I'm a very slow artist. I'm not like Caitlin or Mythix, who are incredibly talented and incredibly fast. Trust is as well. She's incredibly fast as well. I am a slower artist. It's something I'm working on to try and get better. I'm definitely not faster than I used to be. It used to take me 50 hours to complete one piece. It now takes me about 25, so I'm pretty happy with that. Or, okay, vanilla cheesecake dreaded orb. That doesn't sound like a dread at all. That sounds delicious. Sounds like something I'd go to the Cheesecake Factory for. Okay, so anyways, coloring using glazes. It's an old master's technique. You see it a lot in oil painting, and you color over the base. It's a jawbreaker dough. Oh, ugh. Jawbreakers, no thank you. Oh, thank you very much for the new subscription.
Moon_light_glow
Fantastic.
followed your channel.
Okay, you want to choose a reference from my website, or you can find your own, and I'll show you where to find it. But please challenge yourself today. I want you to try and allow yourself to make mistakes, okay? If you want to go on my website, it is pheadinc.com, and I'm going to send you it. And down there on the side, you'll see it's CozyCon Realism Refs, and I'm going to give you guys an actual link here in the chat, if that's all right. Okay, and that will let you guys use the pictures that I have for yourself. You don't have to. You can find your own reference, but I want you to try and do something that's in black and white. That's what I want you to try and do. And on there, I have, hold on here. There we go. On my website, you'll see I have images of all different types of people, and we have the black and white image. So it's kind of easy, ready to be used. If you want to find your own, which you're absolutely, welcome to do, I'd be happy for you to do so. Make sure that you change it to black and white, which you can do through usually the hue and saturation. Turn your saturation right down. I'll show you actually how to do it on Clip Studio, because that might actually be easier. Okay, so for example, let's just grab this image. Okay, so we go into Clip Studio Paint, which I love using. And I'm going to create new from clipboard. So you have this young gentleman right here. You go into edit and you go down to tonal correction. Oh, you can't see it, of course. That would make too much sense. Yeah, of course, because you can't see it. But you go down from tonal correction to hue and saturation, luminosity, and you turn your saturation low. So you want to look for saturation and turn that low. Now I'm going to do that one more time here. Actually, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to turn that down, turn it low. Now, if you find that you want to add a little bit more kind of difference, maybe add a bit more contrast. Upping your contrast is really, really good. I would recommend that. I've already kind of upped the contrast of a lot of the ones on the website. This one I probably could have done a bit more too, but hey ho. You don't want to go crazy with it. You want to keep your midtones. Think about the dreaded orb and think about kind of getting all those colors in your reference. Okay. Either way, go ahead and get your black and white piece, and I will meet you over in Rebel. Actually, no, I'm going to start in P-pad scene. Yeah, we're going to go to Procreate. Doodly doo, a doodly doo, ba ba ba. I'm going to give you guys a little bit of time to go ahead and find your reference, the piece that you're going to want to be working with. Okay. Okie dokie. Alrighty, so I myself am going to use this cute little girl here. I think she is absolutely fabulous. I think I've actually drawn her before because I think she's really fun. I really, really like her. Hold on. Alright, so what I'm going to do is actually, yeah, I'll go ahead and send that picture over. I'm going to give you guys a little bit of time to get your stuff together, get your art ready. Yes, really good shout on that. Shestosaurus is a really good shout. I forget I can draw people, primarily anthro and animal artists. My brain went, oh yeah, right, this exists. It's always good to try something you haven't been doing in a while. Actually, a really good example of that is I am somebody who needs to get better at my anthro drawing. So the other day I went to every furry's favorite from the 90s, Balto. Oh, I had to get some Jenna, and I wanted to like kind of enable a little bit of, you know, Genevieve in my art. And so I looked at a few different artists. I looked at the actual references from the show, and I copied them, and then I changed them a little bit more into my style. So I've got this little guy over here. I've put a little bump in the nose. I love it. Yeah, so cute. Recognize that right away. I know, we're all, I know. Sorry, I call everybody girl. I apologize. Everyone is welcome here. Gentle thems, everybody, no matter your pronouns, you are always welcome here. Okay. Here we go back. So what I'm going to use is this cute little girl here. I'm going to, off of, let me see if I can pop this onto real quick. I know how to do this. Here, hold on. So you can see I'm really organized. On my advertisements on CozyCon, you'll see that I am always professional. It's complete sarcasm on that, by the way. So I'm going to take her and where is she? There she is. I'm going to take Clip Studio. I'm just going to copy that, and I'm going to pop that over onto my scene here, just so you guys can see who I'm working with here. Okay. There we go. Oop. Okay. All right. So as you can see, I chose a different base color. A lot of times I'll go for a base color that kind of embodies the person. P-head, always professional. I know. You mean all this time humans were real? Nifix! How long will you have for drawing this? You will have as long as you need. I'm just going to be showing different things, so you take what you want. But number one, what was one of the things that I said? Who can remember? Pop quiz time. Who can remember? Number one. Make sure that you warm up, okay? So we're going to go ahead and warm up with this. What color is this that we're going off of? Okay. I'm going to work on do this like dark one. So one of the things that I love to do to warm up is circles. So what I'm trying to do, and this is one of the reasons that I wanted to make sure that I had kind of my whole, I'm going to set a timer for 5 minutes of, let's say 3 minutes. Let's say 3 minutes of just trying to, no, let's say 5. We have a bit of time that we can play with here. We have an hour left. So let's do 5 minutes of warming up. So I want you to try and move your wrist all through the rotations, one way, the other way. Give your hands stretches. I have arthritis, so this is always something really important for me. One of the best hand stretches is actually that I learned from martial arts is turning it round, bringing it down. That's a really useful one. Hey Google, set a timer for 5 minutes.
Got it. 5 minutes. And that's starting.
Sorry for anybody whose Google I've set off just then. So I'm literally just drawing circles. It looks really basic, but it's a way to actually just make sure that my actual muscles are warm. It reminds my brain, hey, we're drawing now. You will see, I will try to touch my keyboard over here because I forget that I'm using an iPad. And again, this is Procreate that the great Mythix taught me how to use, which was very, very useful. Maybe, make some kind of doodles, get some, like I said, something that I've been kind of trying to work on is getting, actually I might try some of those Balto pictures. Do something that's not precious, something that you can be goofy around with maybe. One of my favorite things that Mythix does is she likes to do like funny kind of funny pictures and funny sketches before she starts drawing, which I think is really awesome and a really good way to make yourself feel more confident. Now you'll notice here I have oodles and oodles of brushes that I've purchased, brushes that I found. One of my favorite ones, and again this was a Vibe Tribe special, was looking at the Jing Sketch Basics or the Jing Sketch brushes. They're really nice. They're an incredibly talented artist and I love their stuff. I really like it. So hold on one second. I'm gonna go for something that I really find helpful, and it's something that I actually used to really hate. That's something. Try things that you hate. You might like them later on. I'm nearing 40 now, so I can tell you that. It's very true. Is ballpoint pens. I hate sketching with ballpoint pens. I absolutely hate it. I absolutely hate it. You are so good at finding awesome brushes sets. I swear, I live for it. I absolutely live for it. I love brushes sets, and yeah, but it's also a really good way of supporting different artists and finding different artists. They're really talented. So what I like to do recently is I've been using the pen, which is like a ballpoint pen, and there's something just freeing about having a ballpoint pen. I like it. Something that I realized when I was doing the Balto sketches is they give their characters like this kind of, it almost looks like, I always imagined it like, like a trucker hat. Kind of, they have, their eyes are on this kind of flat edge, which, dogs kind of don't really have, but we put it in there anyways. And I add my little dip to the nose, which is what I do in my doggins, my wargs. I'm adding my little nose. I love a nose. I love a nose. And something I also realized when I was doing that study was I do my things a little bit too fun. And again, this is just a warm-up. This is just a warm-up. This is something just to kind of get your brain thinking, get it going, Oh no, we're getting kind of terrifying. Dogs wearing trucker hats, trucker hats is also a vibe. It absolutely is. Absolutely is. This is a panicked doggo having a bad day. And I'm doing some eyebrows. I'm going to go with my Dawn Bluth eyebrows. Get some Dawn Bluth eyebrows in there. I'm panicked. Get some emotive. The other thing that I learned when I was doing that study the other day was, and again, studies are really, really, really useful. You know, there are literally every single type of study you can do. Find it, do it, study it. I realized that I do my ears way too far up when I was doing the studies, and so I changed them back down. Okay, so again, this is kind of just getting there, getting yourself warm, getting something a bit different. I'm actually, hey Google, how much time do we have left on the timer?
35 seconds remaining.
Okay, 35 seconds. P had drew a werewolf kid with braces. Oh yes! Yes, I did. That was the first thing I shared with you. That was because we were talking about like cryptid camps, and that was the awkward cryptid. He was like, oh, I don't know how I feel about myself. And he had a little lisp. He said, I don't know how I feel about myself. Yeah, like, this is a perfect time for, SHI, you-know-what posts, right? It's a really good example of kind of doing that. Okay, Google, thank you. All right, so we're nice and warmed now. Our brain is going, oh yeah, we're drawing again, huh? All right, so I'm going to look at this beautiful little girl that we have, okay? When I'm looking at her image, I am, hold on one second. Let me make it nice and big so I can actually see it for myself. So what I'm looking at with this beautiful little girl is I know that she has this very, very youthful face, okay? Something that's hard about drawing children is there aren't a lot of lines. There aren't a lot of lines with kids, okay? So kind of keep that in mind. Now, again, I have this on my ballpoint pen. Try a different pen that you don't normally use, okay? Try a different, you might want to try, say if you use a lot of kind of things like ballpoint pens, try something that's a bit bigger. Try a smudgy one, try a paint, try a render brush, a big thick render brush. Cancel. Wrong layer. There we are, okay? Try a big thick render brush. Look at, that's me trying to change my drawing with my keyboard on my, on my P-pad. Hold on one second. There we go. So what I'm going to go back to is use my sketch, and I'm going to go back to that ballpoint pen. Yes, yes. And again, this kind of gets this oodly look. So what I'm looking at is, number one, I'm going to start, let's do that cranium drawing, okay? That really kind of, at least for me, this is what I go to. Now, you do not have to do it this way. I would say do what's comfortable for yourself. There is, Proco is a really good resource for different ways of drawing the face. And again, you can look for drawing like canid faces, feline faces, dinosaur faces, research, oh no, my beloved Ink 3 pen. You'll be surprised at how many resources you have out there and how many things will be useful. Like I started really studying skulls. That's something I've become really interested in lately. So I'm noticing that she has this kind of cheeky look, okay? So I want to kind of follow that by giving my horizontal where her kind of eyes are ish. I don't really want to stick too hard to this. This is something I've learned from the gesture drawing artists of the world that have really taught me. Now, something I like to do and this is why I call it, it's kind of realism, is I make my eyes really big because I like anime. I was a weep growing up, and that's just what it is. Sorry. Also, make sure you're switching around your canvas. Move it around. So what if it, if it gives everybody watching you kind of, motion sickness, watching you swing things around? That vibrato on the wrong layer was legendary. I learned it from the best. Okay. The other thing that this little girl has that I really want to show is she has a real depth to her lower lid. I like that. I want to kind of make sure that that's important there. But again, I'm just trying to get basic idea of where things are here. This probably won't be where things end up, okay? Already I'm noticing that if I'm drawing a child, we want to change my proportions a bit. The forehead is going to be large and childlike, okay? We want to have that big baby forehead. What I love about this image, what I love about this reference picture, is the texture of her hair is just stunning, absolutely gorgeous. And really cool shout out, there is an artist who specializes in doing black hair. Their name is Vegalia, and they do beautiful, look at this brush. I'm sorry, is that you gagging? Because this brush just ate. Oh my goodness, I can't even. Anyways, we'll go back to that in a second. That's like literally one of the reasons I could use this brush in this piece. Okay. Where the heck was I? Always professional. Always p-head. There we are, pen. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of mesh this sucker out because I already can see where I'm kind of running into issues. Okay. You can see I've made the bottom half a little bit too big. Also, this eye, I can scooch over. I'm not really precious with anything right now. I'm literally not even, rubbing anything out. I'm just letting myself get the flow for it. And again, I want to have that, I don't know what that word is. If anybody knows that Korean word for like the wobbly bit under the eye, that's what I kind of want to focus on her beautiful little face. I'm going to bring this chin in. I'm going to see what I can do. And you'll notice I'm not even really picking my pen up all that much right now. I'm going to go with something that I have when I get my kind of gammy hands is, a lot of times I'll turn it around upside down so I can really get a nice kind of swoop, a swoop-de-doop. There we are. That is the technical terminology for that, by the way. It's called the shroop-de-doop in professional circles. Now, something I've really been trying to work on is drawing different types of noses. I am the queen of same nose syndrome. I draw everybody's nose the same as mine. And for a long time I was drawing like the noses, kind of the Michael Jackson nose, draw as small as you can because I watched a lot of anime, and I'm really trying to kind of compete against that. So one of the things that I've done with that is I've started drawing noses with a really beautiful kind of center that gives me a good anchor point. And also this lets me know that where the nostrils are in comparison to that, I can think, okay, kind of moving up. Oh, she's just got this beautiful little nose. Absolutely gorgeous little girl nose. She's so sweet. I love this little girl. She's so cute. Sorry, I'm a mother, so you're going to get things like that from me. Super cute. Okay. So I'm getting kind of, an idea of the face here, right? An idea of the face. Ooh. Now, eyebrows. Make sure, something that I fall into all the time is I reference my face a lot, especially when I'm doing things like animation and stuff. Make sure that you aren't giving them, again, your kind of same face features. So I was about to give her eyebrows kind of like mine, and then I realized her eyebrows don't have a very defined arch. Like, she just kind of has a nice little happy, soft brow. Soft, beautiful little brow. Ugh. Something that I love about portraiture is you see somebody's soul. And that's something I really try to capture, is the idea of like a soul, a being, the person underneath, and the beauty in every single human being on this planet. It's something that if I'm feeling angry, depressed, I'll start doing portraiture and I'm like, wow, people are so beautiful. Every human being on this planet has a story to tell. If you're ever going around, out and about, say you're just feeling really down, say it's a rubbish day, you've had a, fight with a best friend, you've been, done badly at your job, something that's getting you down. Go outside, draw people. Don't be creepy about it, but, get yourself a coffee, people watch and do some gesture drawings of people walking past. And just think to yourself that every single human being is telling a story. Every single person out there is, they're talking, they're living their life. They're exploring their world. Okay. And it's really humbling. It's something that makes me feel happy. And it makes me see that the world is a pretty beautiful place. Takes you out of your own head a bit, which I think is important. Okay, now I'm gonna so because I have that really awesome brush that I kind of want to give value to, and again, support artists by using, is actually, I say that I need to purchase their brushes. I think that was the free one, but you can give a donation on there, which I did. So she has these really, really cute puffs. And again, if I'm doing like another really great thing about digital art, and I don't need to tell you this, is you can change the size of your canvases. Hooray, canvas size, crop and resize. Okay. So I can really give this a good idea of kind of where I want to go. And people do this all the time. Don't be afraid, oh, I'm stuck to this. No, you're not. Move it around. Even if you're doing it, say something on that you want to put on Instagram, something like that on your socials that you want to keep to like a square. What you can also use is, say if it comes out as a rectangular piece, is tease the image with, link it off onto your website or wherever they can find it, and tease it with a square from it. Zoom in on an eye, zoom in on a lip, something that you did particularly well. Hide the things you don't do well. So over here, I'm going to notice something, and something that you always need to do in realism and in art in general is make sure you flip your, everybody, canvas. Oh, I love that. I love that. Sometimes I look at people and I'm like, you're totally a tabby cat. I absolutely love that. That center nose trick must be the secret to drawing muzzles I've been missing all these years. If you find the secret to drawing muzzles, please tell me. Please tell me. I would like to know what the secret to drawing muzzles is, because I have a big trouble. I have a massive problem with that. Hold on one second. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to flip my canvas. So something I've noticed is this, ooh, hello. This chin is too weak. That's way too thin. So what do you think this girl would be? Which animal do you think? I could see, actually, you know what, like, actually you say tabby cat and that's kind of what's going on in my brain. I don't know if that's because you said it or if because, like, that's something that just I kind of see her personality with. Oh, I missed a massively important part. I missed her little cheeky smile. Foxbat vibes. As a Tamberlane fan, yeah, I could say that. I could definitely get that. I get kind of like a feline look, but maybe like a, what are they called? Like a, maybe like a Savannah cat vibe, like something that has kind of a mischievous little aura. Because I find her to look really intelligent, really mischievous, and what I love this little line she has right here on her lips. She doesn't have a really defined Cupid's bow, which I do, so I have to make sure that I'm not doing same face syndrome. I'm kind of going in and doing it that way. Okay. All right. Okay, I don't want to give up too much time just to getting this. So we're kind of coming up, we still have about 40 minutes left, which is great. We're going to use the warp tool already. Mythix was so funny. She was like, use the warp tool. I was like, but what if? No, use the warp tool. But what is it? No, use the warp tool. Okay? So I'm going to draw that chin down a little bit. All right? That's something I've noticed that I need to kind of bring down. I'm going to make her, the whole of her face a little bit shorter. Okay? I'm kind of, again, kind of highlighting that idea of the big eyes, the childlike demeanor from that. Now also, I'm noticing I'm giving her same face. I'm giving her my face. I don't want to do that. She has a really soft angle there. So let me warp that out. See if I can kind of do that. I'm gonna, as you can see, this is literally the first time I've even touched my rubber or my eraser at all. Okay? So it's very, very, very kind of gentle on that. Alrighty. Okay. Now, I've just realized that I've kind of destroyed her chin in that. So I'm going to go back and just kind of define that in a bit more. All right. Poor girl, and I don't want it to look like she has like massive chin hair here, but let me set that up. There we go. Okay. So I kind of get my little shape there. And I'm putting a little bit more chub in her cheek. I will. I'm going to. I don't want to be too close to it. I'm getting kind of like, you know, again, my own kind of vibes from this. A serval! That's the word. Serval. Ocelot. Ocelot. Love it. Now, this is where I really want to start working on getting some tone in there. Okay, so what I'm going to do, and again, we're doing this just in kind of in monochrome. Okay, I'm going to switch over. I'm going to actually keep this. Remember how I just said do it all in one layer? So this is where I'm not exactly following that rule. I'm going to keep my line art on one layer. I'm going to go, this is personally what I do. You can do the same or you can do different. Do what feels comfortable for yourself. However, I'm going to go make another layer. And one of the other things that I'm going to show you, lock the layers that you're not using. Okay, that you're using that you don't want to draw on. It's a really helpful thing, and it will stop you so many times from doing long layer. Wrong layer. Long layer. Long layer! Okay, sorry. And then go down to here. I'm going to use a nice round render. I'm going to go in, and I'm going to be... Now, something that you can kind of get stuck in, which is very hard to get out of, is using your dipper tool and going and referencing it. I'm going to really try and stay off of that. Also, I'm going to try and paint big. That's a good thing for speed, is go in and paint big first. Okay. Now I'm kind of looking into where our shadows are, right? Okay. And actually, you know what? I want to be able to go a few places with this light and shadow. So what I'm going to do, and this is one of the things that I really like Procreate for, is that you can use the side of your pen and you can really go in, and I'm going to go through the whole of her face. Hold on, I think I went a bit dark there. I'm going to change that opacity down a little bit just to mitigate that. And I'm just going to give her her mid-tone, okay? I'm going to give her her mid-tone. And this would go with, you know, black, white, whatever character, whatever background racially that they have or culturally. I'm going to go and give her just a mid-tone that I can work from, okay? This gives me a color to add to, and it gives me a color that I can take away from. It gives me a color I can take away from. Okay. And that allows that. Now you're going to notice, I'm going to recommend that you kind of do it a little bit into her hair as well. Do that mid-tone a little bit into their hair. All right. Where are we? So this isn't shadow, this is a mid-tone. The face shape is so fresh. So fresh. Yes. Yes. Oh, servals are presh. Oh, okay. Yes, yes. They're very pretty. Boss cat, twisty cat. Absolutely. Yes. So this isn't a shadow as much as a midtone. Now let's go back, and I'm going to kind of just bring this back for us to remember. There we are. Oh, yes. Look at that beautiful transition. Oh, it's like still there. Well done. Well done, P-head. Always professional. Always P-head. I'm going to bring my slides back up. Hold on. There we are. And this should, in theory, bring my slide back up, but it doesn't because, you know, we're using technology, and that's always how it works. I want you to remember the circle that we were working on. Where did he go? Here we go. Oops, not that one. Oh, I know a really easy way to do this. Hold on. I want you to look at your midtones. This is so annoying. Just trying to bring it up so I can see a really good example of it. Okay, so this is what I was trying to bring back to you. So the mid-tone that you want to go for is this one around here. So this is the foundation of your character. Okay, so that's what I was trying to give through there, is going through that. There we go. Go back to my P pad. There we are. Okay. And I'm just going to kind of cross-hatch this already. Okay, so that allows us to take away and allows it to ask to. I'm crying. Ordered an energy drink, got a Mountain Dew instead. No! You got 2 hours of sleep last night. Superhero, what were you doing? I'll tell you what you were doing. Having too much fun at CozyCon. Having too much fun at CozyCon. Okay, so I'm also going to go back and I'm going to flip my... flip it back. Make sure it's kind of where I want. This is really to reference to my image that I'm working off of. Okay, so I'm looking at this young lady and I'm thinking, okay, so what do I need to punch down? First I'm going to punch down and I'm going to take that shadow. It doesn't go much under her nose. It goes to the side a bit. I also realized I gave her the kind of lips I have, so I'm going to do another warp, and I'm going to make her lips down a little bit from her nose. Oops. And this is when you go into the other layer, unlock, you go on here. Okay, advanced mesh. I recommend advanced mesh. You can use whatever you want, but that's the one that I've found really helpful. Now this is really unhelpful. There we are. Is trying that down there, giving her a little bit more length there. And what I'm going to do also is I'm going to use this little baby, circle that round, take that, I'm going to freeform, just draw this down a little bit further down, that gives us a little bit more of that lip, the distance between the lip and the nose. And the other thing that I'm going to realize, I'm going to do this because I want to go on to shading. I'm going to lock that back up. But I'm going to really realize that there's a lot of kind of color and shading going on down here with her lips. Okay? She has this cute little, okay, Google, I don't need that. Thank you. Okay, Google, thank you. Sorry. If Google doesn't say, my children don't sleep. And that's always an issue. So just to give you guys kind of an ETA, we have like another half an hour to kind of keep working on this. All right? Another half an hour here. Ah, I don't know the shortcut to flip it. Ooh, 10 hours of sleep felt nice. Cool. Jealous of you on that one. Oh, night shift for 3 years and it messed you up bad. Yeah, it would do. It absolutely would do. Okay, hold on here. Boop-a-doo. Yeah, circadian rhythms. They're a thing. Your body needs sleep. Sleep is really important. You need to treat yourself like a sim. Look after those things. Okay. So I'm going to go in there. I'm going to go in here. Sometimes what's useful is to go back to your layer that you're doing your line art on. And hold on, I've got to unlock him. Click him. I'm gonna click on here. I'm gonna change the opacity really down. And by changing the opacity of your line art, what that does is immediately look at how much more I can see from the shade and the tone. Look at how much more I can see. I can really see where I need to move my value. Okay? So, wrong layer. Here we are. Okay. And again, something else that's just popped up. I made in the line art, I made her nose her nostril there go the wrong direction. Draw what you see and not what you think you see. Okay? That's a massive one, for me at least, is making sure I draw what I see and not what I think I see. That's why it's always good to, like I say, go back to, you know, the people that inform your style and copy them. You know, don't copy word for word, but and line for line, but, you know, do a reference. Use their piece as a reference. Go back, see what they do well. What do you like about them? And that's one of the things, again, about when you draw and you're painting and rendering, what you see, not what you think you see, or what your heart wants to see. Now there's a real, I'm just not, oh gosh, I'm just not getting this this in here like this. So hold on 1 second. She has kind of this really cute little thing here, and what I'm gonna do is actually, no, you know what, instead of doing that, now I'm not gonna do a lot of erasing when I'm going for realism. I'm gonna grab, so that's kind of my base color, right? I'm gonna go in and I go, okay, that's my base, right? Okay, Google, thank you. I'm sorry,
to get ready for bed.
Enraged. So we're going here. We're just, oh. Yeah, there we go. That's not too much of a mid-tone. I'm gonna, yeah, there we go. That's more of a mid-tone. And again, this is what they mean when they say kind of stay on the same layer. Don't mess around too much with that. Again, this is making sure I'm just on the coloring layer, but keeping that cohesive. Keep that cohesive. I'm kind of looking at timings here. Like I said, I'm a notoriously slow artist. So I'm actually going to switch for a second. I'm just going to zoom out here. And that gives me kind of an idea of where I'm going, I'm going to do a little bit longer on this, and then I'm going to switch to another piece that I've got a little bit more work done on. And I'm going to go back with this darker color. I'm going to go a bigger brush. Already I kind of like didn't listen to one of my rules, which was, you know, work big to small, not small to big. Look through here. Oop, I'm going to make that a little bit lighter. And I'm going to add a bit more shadow. I'm going to add a bit more shadow here, a bit more shadow here. And also make sure to, you know, don't just focus in all the time. Zoom out. Zoom out. And this is me as micro mini. I like to go really, really small, really, really detailed with my work. Make sure that you kind of look at the big picture, because I have had so many things where I try to look at this tiny bits and it messes up the whole piece. The cohesiveness is completely lost. So again, I'm being really, really light. Move your hand around on the pencil, maybe. So I'm moving my hand back on the pencil. This is again one of the reasons that I wanted to use a camera today. I'm moving it back on the back of my pencil, so I'm getting this really kind of, you know, really loose pencil work. And I'm going to kick that tone down. I'm going to kick that tone darker. I really want to push my contrasts. Imagine that you're using that, you know, that contrast that we talked about earlier. You're removing the, you know, you're desaturating and moving that contrast up and down. Okay. And the other thing is, okay, so here she has this kind of where her chin rests, right? And like I know, I mean, we're talking about realism. I've done her eyes really big. That's what I like to do. I like to give that kind of, that's the look I'm doing intentionally. There are times where I do studies and I don't do that. And then it makes me feel sad. So do studies that are comfortable. Like I said, do things that make you happy. Don't just do them because you're told to. Do things that make you happy. Okay, I'm going to get some colors in the eyebrows here. I'm going to allow myself another about kind of 2-3 minutes to get some colors and ideas on this baby. I'm going to go into the nose. I have a tendency to overwork the nose. It's one of my favorite pastimes. Now you'll notice also I'm not changing up my pens a lot right now because I'm just trying to get the shades, the foundations down. I'm trying to get light and dark put down. I'm keeping in one, hold on one brush as much as I can right now. It's a bit dark. It's a bit dark there. Try that again. If anybody has any questions, right now would be a good time. One of the things I will mention is all of my streams, you know, CozyCon is all inclusive. All of my streams are 18 plus, so you're absolutely welcome to join in with us, but I will have adult themes and maybe adult jokes, so please be aware of that. It's my time to not be mum, so that's important to me. Every so often we do a bit of gaming on the channel, but don't expect any talent. Please don't expect talent. You will not find talent there. This will not be the place that you go for talent. I'm doing a bit of hatching here. Maybe adult gross jokes. Maybe adult jokes crosses arms. Yeah, okay, Mythics, you're right. Always adult jokes. Adult humor, yeah. Okay. Okay, fair enough. You got me there. Now, I'm going to go and I'm going to start smudging. And I'm going to smudge with a round stream. I'm going to smudge, not with a stream, I don't want a stream. I just want a nice, like, I want a round render. I want a nice round render that doesn't stream too much here. Okay, actually I'm going to move that up. Make it bigger too. It's teeny tiny. There we go. Okay. And I'm just going to give this guy a little blur out. Oh, for goodness sake. Ah, yes. Save check. Save your canvases. Really good shout on that. Control S. Especially nice thing about Procreate, you don't have to do that with. But saying that, it's always a good idea. Oh, gosh. No, don't do that. To check your amount of battery that you've got there. Yeah, good call on the save check. Good call on the save check. Now, one of the things that I'm doing, it's all right. It's all right. Welcome in, Gull. Welcome in, Crystal. Thank you guys for coming and stopping by. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. It will be, I think, I've given them the okay to pop it up on YouTube. So, now the thing about when you use the smudging tool, the nice thing about that is obviously, you know, we're getting kind of consistency here. We're getting, you know, we're smudging it. We're almost airbrushing it. Now, what you don't want when you're making, just keeping an eye on the time, what you don't want to do when you're making a portrait or a realism piece is you don't want to make it, you don't want them to look like they have a filter on their face, okay? If anything, when you see really, really detailed hyperrealism, you see pores, you see like, you know, the skin for what it really is. So you can actually find the solution with that through using other cool brushes. So I found some really cool brushes here called like skin brushes. I love these. So you actually have like skin pores, skin textures. These are great for smudging with as well. Because look at that. Oops, that's actually laying down color. Hold on. I'm going to go on here. This is one thing I really love about Procreate that Procreate does very well is that you can change your, this is probably the biggest thing that I like on it, is that you can change every brush to being a smudge brush or a rubber brush. In Clip Studio, you can make rubbers out of everything, but I mean eraser. I mean eraser by that word, by the way. I'm being well behaved. I'm being very well behaved. So one of the things about using the skin tour brush, what you're gonna notice is, look at it. It's a big rough brush, okay? Can you see that? Actually, I think you can't see it. Hold on. There we go. I'm gonna show this again. Look at how rough this brush is. This has a bunch of little bits on it. And what that does is, I'm gonna turn that opacity down, is it kind of gives the idea of roughness back to the face. And you know what? I'm not really happy with that. I don't think it's rough enough. So what I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna go back in here with this. I'm gonna get this mid-tone. I'm going to get slightly darker mid-tone, okay? Remember, whenever you're doing tone, what's really nice about using monochromatic paintings is that you get a real idea of where you can go and where you can't, okay? So there, I'm trying to get a really rough look. I'm just, it's not rough enough. It's really not rough enough for me. Here, hold on. I know it might be because it's too small. There we go. There we go. There we go. So I'm bringing in the idea of pores back to the skin. Okay. She isn't an Instagram model. She's not using, you know, filters. This is a beautiful little girl. Okay. So we want to show the reality of her skin. We want to show the reality and the validity of her. Need that one grit roughness. Superhero, you're a legend. I got the words jacuzzi and yakuza confused. Now I'm in hot water with the Japanese mafia. Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness. But oh, I wish I had the kind of skills of like Sixel, who's able to just like slash all those sounds and everything on everything. I absolutely love it. So I'm adding some skin pores in here. And I'm gonna go big. I'm gonna go big. Go big. Look, and I'm trying to add that back in there. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so like I say, I work pretty, look at that. You can really see it down there. Look at the difference that makes, okay? Adding those colors in there. And I'm gonna, you know what? I'm gonna go down. I'm gonna take that. I'm gonna take that back down, and I'm gonna Look at that. Look at that rough shading and what that does. For just making her look human. Okay? And especially if you're working with animals, you're working with anthro characters, you want to have something that looks like fur. Okay? Don't give them this kind of blurred out look. Use, one of my favorite ones are like, Jing. You have so many beautiful brushes here. Where's the All-Stars? Procreate All-Stars. One of my favorite ones is the Jing Sketch Chalk, okay? So let's say that we were giving her furry ears, right? You know, this, look at how beautiful that that color is. Or that texture, rather. That texture is just really fun and yummy. Oh, don't come for me. I'm giving the ears on the top of the head. Sorry. Don't come for me. Don't come for me. But anyways, okay. So what I want to do is I'm going to get that sandpaper. I'm going to go ahead and switch, hopefully successfully, to Rebel, which is another program that I have absolutely fallen in love with. Go away, Clip Studio. You can't always be the king of everything. So Rebel is something that I absolutely love. I've fallen in love with it. Jonas, another artist here, look at their incredible work. They are such a god. And something that they've done here is so this is something I've done here, is they've gotten me into Rebel. Really cool thing about Rebel is it allows you to do kind of, what does it give you? It gives you real media. Yeah, I'm just going to show you for a minute. This is something that I worked on the other day. We had really beautiful sky. I got really inspired. I took some photographs. I made my own references, which was very not me. And I worked on painting a sky. And this is something that you can do in Rebel that you can't do in other things. Now there's going to be people being like, well, why don't you just use watercolor? You absolutely can. You do not, I really, really espouse, if you're stuck in something, go and use real media. Use watercolors, use oils. I'm a huge oil fan. Use acrylics. Go and use real media. Use real media. It's really helpful. It's really good for when you're in a rut. Pardon me. But what I like about Rebel, and keep in mind that this can be a really expensive piece of software. It can be around like 70, 80 pounds British. But you can get it on sale sometimes for about, I want to say about like 39. I might be wrong on that. I'm dyscalculic, so my numbers are really bad. But about half price, I think, is what it goes to. So keep an eye on it. Anyways, but you can get this really cool watercolor effect. And what I really like it is if I try to use watercolors in my house, number one, textures are very hard for me. I'm neurodivergent, and some textures are very, very tricky for me to work with. Watercolor paper is one of them. Sometimes it's okay, sometimes it isn't. The other thing that I really like about it is I have children. If I have paints, if I have watercolors out, they will all want to get in the watercolors. Now that is wonderful when I'm trying to do that, but when I'm trying to teach a student how to work with watercolors and I have children rushing in and trying to steal them and getting the paints all over the place and getting up on the walls, blah, 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 that's not what I'm looking for. So Rebel allows me to just use these huge amount of really realistic media and be able to really control them without having to take everything out, get everything set up, get everything like that. So it's a really great program. Let me open the piece that I was working on. So this is one I was working on recently. Hold on, this will take a while. So this is one of my characters, Natasha. Now something is, I actually didn't listen to my own advice. Oh look, I do that all the time. And I have to, I did this, that I did it on black and white, and I regret that. So I actually changed my background. So on there, as you can see, you can change your colors, which is so cool. You can change your colors on there, which is just so cool. Your canvas, I mean, your type of canvas. So if I click on canvas, I hope this will show up. Hold on one second. Ah, this is where it is. I'm still really learning this program, so I apologize. It's really cool, I swear. There we are. So we should be able to see. I'm just going to see if it's coming through. No, it isn't, but you can select your canvas textures. And the textures are awesome. Okay, now if I'm using Rebel or Rebel, I never know how to say it. It's a little bit different. It's a little bit more clunky. It's not like Procreate. It's not like drawing on that. You have to use, you know, it's for PC. You can, I think there's a Mac version as well, but you have to have it on a desktop. I really want them to make another one. Now, what you see is I've gotten down kind of most of my color here. I've gotten down, or sorry, not color. I've gotten down most of my tone here. Okay. So what I'm going to go in, I'm going to go ahead and use a glaze. Okay. Now this glaze I've picked to kind of more or less match the color of the original. Okay. You can see my reference down there. Now this is a really great way to enter into using color. Glazes are what the masters used. It is a really, really solid way of going into it and entering into color if you are nervous, if you've worked in black and whites a lot. Also, if you are having trouble with your colors and they're just not right, it's a real solid way of doing it. And a glaze, all a glaze is another layer on top. So this one, if you notice, I actually have color selected on here. All right. Now color just colors your piece. Okay. So I've put this kind of, you know, this kind of light tan, I would say, skin tone down. And immediately it gives me this idea that you can work on through that. Now I'm looking at the time and I have about just about 9 minutes left. I was wondering if anybody wanted to show their pieces, see where they've gotten on this. Like I said, I'm a very slow artist, so I don't have anything complete. Yes, glazing methods are really, really handy. They're really, really handy. And it's a great way to use to really understand color, because the better your light and shadow are, the better your color will be. And I know that sounds kind of, it sounds opposite. It sounds like but it's actually the most important thing for understanding color. Really great reference is, hold on. Let me just get there. James and Gurney, Color and Light. If you don't have this book, get it. I think there are some, you know, things that you can find online. James Gurney is incredible. Read this book. It will change your life. You'll literally start seeing the world as a more beautiful place. Here in the UK, it's on sale right now, which is great. And basically what you realize is color is nothing without light. And light is, you know, and light and color are basically inseparable. So understanding how light works is really going to teach you how color works. So make sure you study that. So what I've done is I've kind of gone in with this, but what I want to do is have a look at what you guys have done. If you are confident sharing it, I'm not exactly sure where Tamron said that you're going to share it on. Creative Share channel. Yes, absolutely. Yes, please. Please, please, please. And you don't have to. Shesta, that would be awesome. That would be awesome. And that is in the Creative Share channel, which I'll have to try to find. I'm sorry, I'm old. It takes me a while. Where are we? Creative Share. There we are. Yes, please post in the Creative Share channel. That would be awesome. Oh, there's so many good stuff. Oh my gosh, Shasta, this is incredible. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Are you freaking kidding me? This is incredible. Wow. Okay, I'm going to open it up on Clip Studio just because I can navigate that a little bit better. This is incredible. Create new from clipboard. Look at this beautiful piece. Look at this beautiful piece. Oh my gosh, look at how much work you got done. Nice work. Nice work. Okay. If you want me to critique this, am I all right to mark it up a little bit? Let me know. let me know. I'm gonna, if you don't mind, I'm going to, and I'll do it on a separate layer. I would knock the color. Oh, this is beautiful. This is so beautiful. I love this. The texture that you got in the hair is perfect. The texture that you got in the hair is absolutely gorgeous. Absolutely perfect. I love that. Oh, that's so great. Okay, I'm looking at the time. We have like 5 minutes. So what I would do is I would punch your highlights up a little bit more. So let's look here. So she has some really nice, oh, hold on. This is on the wrong, I have to move it to my drawing things. Yes, okay, you're okay with doing that, okay. Yeah, I used to say to my, my teachers, I used to say, make my pieces bleed. Turn them red with your marks. So I'm going in here, and again, I have some brushes on here that give me a lot of texture. Again, texture is really important. Oh, this is so great. This is so great. Okay, now you'll notice I took this color and it's just not giving me enough. It's not giving me enough. So it's not, oops, hold on. It's not giving me enough color. I'm gonna, number one, I'm gonna make it a lot larger. Okay, increase the color there. But I'm also gonna kick this up. And this might be a really good example of when you want to use another layer. But also, I'm gonna kick this up to here, okay? So I'm gonna go all the way up to kind of white. And I'm gonna go on there. You know what, that's not giving me enough. So what I'm gonna do, this would be a really good example of when to go to screen. Okay, that gives me that. Now, I just realized, I think that's a, what does that actually say? That's moja, so that's like soft. Hold on, it's a little bit too soft. I'm gonna go to the dry gauche. Okay, make it nice and big. So I would go and just point that up a little bit more. I've done that on screen, so give me a bit more there. Here, I'm gonna again work smaller. Sorry, I've been doing some animating, so my timeline's up. And I would go in here and give that a little bit more of an, and again, I'm doing this on a different layer, and that's not only is it because your artwork's there, but I would yoink that up. Look at that. And this is when it's a great idea to kind of not look at your reference. Let's look at her eyes, for example. We can add a little bit more vibrancy to these eyes. We can really pop these, right? And also, what I also want to do is, so say I'm going up with that, I'm going to do another layer. And again, this is when I'm saying at the end, add your layers. The nose I haven't gotten to yet. Yeah, I could tell. I'm going to go in and I'm going to pop these colors down in the eye, and I'm going to give that eye a lot of depth. You'll see on a lot of my pieces, I'm really all about going in for the eye depth. Sorry, the size of that isn't what I want. Just keeping an eye on the time. And I maybe kind of go through and give that just a little bit more color. I don't know how you work this quickly, by the way. You're incredibly talented. And I would just, you know, again, with a really small brush, and this is something that I see with a lot of people who go into realism. What they are very afraid to is they get this kind of this real soft look, which is beautiful. And that's definitely a style to go for, and it's really cool. But go ahead and give some solid, work with some solid, hold on. Work with some solid lines, some more solid lines. Go in there, you know, define that. Let's give some definition, right? So look immediately when I add this contrast in there. Look what it gives to kind of the dynamicness of the piece. Look at how much more kind of it just pops it, right? Crank up your contrast. I feel you're so talented drawing on top of this, but that's what I would do. I would punch up that contrast, and it gives it a little bit more vibrancy. Now I would probably blend that out a little bit more. So we're having on 1 minute. So I have some other ones that I have gotten here. Oh my gosh, some incredible pieces. I'm just going to quickly just show really quickly another piece right here. And that is from Scurry Block. Beautiful work. That is incredible. Incredible. Really beautiful work. And also, Kessie came in halfway. You've done an incredible job, Kess. I'm really pleased with this because I know that Kessie's been really working on modeling. That is some really beautiful modeling. Yeah, I like that you've done the eyes really big like mine. Okay, that is time. I don't want to gab into anybody else's. I will see you guys later, and I will end this. Thank you so much. Have a lovely day. Sleep well, my lovelies.